Broadcasting live from Bolas' Citadel on the plain of Ravnica III, this is Tap Tap Concede. Today with some new hosts. Hi, I'm Serge. Joining me today, I have a Ben.
Yo!
And a Cameron.
Huh?
And just a reminder that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you in part by cardkingdom.com/LRR. Lets them know that we sent you there. That's an affiliate code. We like them a lot, and we recommend that you like them too. And a reminder that everything we do is brought to you by your support over at the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Today is Sunday, and the three of us just wrapped up at our War of the Spark pre-release. And we have some feelings. Holy moly, this is quite the set.
Yeah, that's kind of putting it, I guess, like lightly. I don't get it.
Oh!
But I have, I guess, like a number of opinions. Like flat out, this is an awesome limited set. Like personally, I am not a tremendous fan of sealed. But this made me a fan of it. Like I honestly think this is really, really cool.
You're back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mean, I did the worst. I went 1 and 2 and then I dropped.
1-2 friendship lunch sounds like a great way to
I
spend
went for
the weekend,
Vietnamese.
right?
I got some pho. It was great.
Oh, nice. Where'd you go?
Just to Greenleaf Cafe.
That place is solid. So today's episode, we're going to talk about our pre-release experiences, our kits, some sick plays, perhaps some sick plays inflicted upon us, and overall what we're thinking about. So Ben, start us off. How did your experience go? You went 1 and 2.
Yes, yeah, and it is a 5-round thing that we do for YJ. I started off really, really excited, and not that I got less excited, but I just feel conflicted that there may have been a better deck than what I built out of what I had. So I was very fortunate enough to get new Lily as my promo. Yeah, she's pretty spicy.
The promo bomb mythic feels good.
Yeah.
Just in case people don't know, what does this Liliana do?
So this Liliana is 4 black for a 6 loyalty planeswalker, and her static ability, which is obviously the new thing for planeswalkers this set, is whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Her +1 is you can create a 2/2 zombie creature token, and her -4 is each player sacks 2 creatures. And finally, if you do ultimate her, each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type, and they sack the rest.
So you played black, right?
Yes, I definitely did play black. Yeah.
Seems correct.
Yeah, what I really like about whenever Liliana comes back, her ultimate is typically around the same sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's always like, grab all the permanents and do X thing, or grab permanents from the graveyard and do thing with them.
I remember an original Innistrad block for Liliana of the Veil. The trailer for that had her literally saying to, what's her name? The 2/1 Cathar. Who always taps.
Thalia?
Thalia. Telling Thalia, all right, choose between all of your companion Cathars or the shiny silver rock. One of them is going away.
Yeah. So what's really cool about this pre-release as well, you get 2 promos. So you always get a promo planeswalker, and then you get a promo card. So I had the odds, because like the promo planeswalker can be any of them.
Yeah, including
so uncommon ones, right? So I was like, oh, okay, I got a mythic planeswalker. What am I going to get as my my rare? I got Fibblethip.
Yeah. Wow.
Which here's the thing. Fibblethip is great.
This card is great.
This card is great, and if you have it and you're in blue, run Fibblethip.
Yeah.
It's just an elvish visionary.
I think a lot of people look at this card and they think to themselves, it's a legendary rare, it doesn't do enough, and you're just like, it draws a card.
Yeah, it's an elvish visionary.
Well, I really liked, Sam from Ristic Studies, nice mug, said that a lot of people are trying to do shenanigans with Fibblethip, but maybe you just cast Fibblethip on 2 and draw a card.
It feels good.
There. Wasn't that nice?
There's a lot of other text that you can just ignore. Like, this card is great.
Yeah.
And look at that art and all that lore and that enormous eyeball.
Yeah, so then I went on through the rest of my packs. I started opening things. And first pack I opened up next, I got it to Fairy. And I was like,
okay.
Esper? Okay. Open up my next pack, I got Jace. And I'm like, okay. Next pack is Parhelion II. I'm like, not so great. And then the next pack I opened, I got a Casualties of War, which is actually one of the cards that I was most excited for out of this set, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
This is going in every Golgari commander deck from now until the end of time. It is 2 black, green, green for a sorcery. Choose 1 or more, which is very key, and you get to destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker.
Absolutely got 3 for 1 by this.
Yes, it's a very, very good card. So coming through, looking at the rares, especially the bomminess of them, I was like, I'm an Esper. Like, it's got to be Esper.
Sure.
And I built it out, and through being an Esper, I somehow, like, obviously I could have gotten greedy a little bit with the splash. I only had like a mana geode to fix, right? And I had like maybe 9, maybe more like 7 playable creatures, and the rest was all non-creature spells. And so me being the typical player I am, which is I turn a creature sideways and I reduce somebody's life total
You're like,
to 0.
you don't have enough creatures.
I don't have enough creatures to make this work.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going through my stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, my black is pretty good. Let me take a look at my green. And my green had all of these big, sweet creatures.
Did you end up in Golgari?
I ended up in Golgari, yeah.
Wow.
But it was just like, and I mean, a lot of it was just like, not like incredible creatures, but just good green creatures. So there's just like simple things like Ward Scale Crocodile, I think is a fine card. It's 4 and a green for a 5/3 with hexproof.
Yeah.
You know?
Like cards like that have been oppressive in past sets. You give that any backup and you're like, okay, I guess I don't get to interact with the biggest creature on the board. That's a feeling.
Yeah. And then you've got things like I had 2 Bloom Hulks, which are 4/4s for 4 that proliferate when they enter the battlefield.
I like that card a lot.
And they're just good, yeah. And then things like even like Crunch Wrangler was nice on my on my
right there,
curve.
Cameron?
Yeah.
Raging
Crunch do 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 do, raging crunch do 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 do, raging crunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot. A lot of good cards like that. I also really wanted to experiment around because Casualties of War seemed super sweet. I still got to play Lily. I also had a Death Sprout, which did a lot of work. It's 1 black, and a green.
This card's great.
Yeah, destroy target creature and ramp. And because I was doing a little bit of a light Abzan splash,
fixes colors.
It fixes colors. Yeah. So I pulled the keyword soup angel. Sunblade Angel.
Oh, yeah.
5 and a white for a 3/3 with flying, first strike, vigilance, and lifelink.
Sure.
And this one ended up kind of closing it out. 9 times out of 10, though, as great as this card is, and here is where the turning point of my feelings on the set came.
Okay.
This card ended up being just a sandbag. It was a removal magnet, which is totally fine, but it was a 6 mana removal magnet.
Sure.
And at that point in the game, when I'm like running low on cards and whatnot, it sucked to play this, and then they go end step Jaya's Greeting.
Yeah, well, there's 2 common 3 mana lightning strike equivalents, right?
Yeah. So, and shockingly, I had very little removal. Like, there's so much removal in the set, and I somehow managed to not really get all that much.
Definitely saw a lot of removal in my opponent's decks. Yeah,
yeah,
I know
and that was kind of it. So I want to talk and just like, I don't know. I think I definitely think what I probably should have done was go Esper and just do the hardest control play I've ever played in my life and finish. And my win con is Jace.
So an interesting thought I have on this set. So in following idea, normally, you might have a rare or 2, but if you don't have the rest of the deck to sort of carry you to it, you're going to fall apart. So I think a lot of the times you're right. Your decision is probably correct to go with the meat and potatoes there. But this set is so bomb heavy.
Yeah.
It's so bomb heavy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I feel like we're watching slow motion Rock'em Sock'em heavyweights.
Yes.
We're just like,
and that's kind of the thing, right? Is so I came at it from a perspective of quote unquote fair magic.
Sure.
I'm like, here's a 4/4 for 4. That's
pretty good.
In typical limited.
Yeah.
That is a good card.
Yeah, a 4/4 worth 4/4 for 4 with a keyword.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, great, but then somebody just slams down something like as simple as just like, I don't know, like even having just like a Teferi or any of these
The uncommon planeswalkers.
the Wanderer. uncommon.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like the Wanderer is a great example of something where you're just like, okay, 3 and a white for a 5-mana planeswalker that can just exile your your stuff.
Yeah. So nice 4-drop. You absolute idiot.
Yeah.
Why aren't
I'm
you playing?
also going to do it next turn.
Yeah.
Are you going to play another 4-drop?
Yeah, right. So
like,
I'm over here. I was outside talking to somebody because we were at a pre-release. It's awesome because you just get to talk to random people that you've never talked to before and ask how their games are going. And he's like, oh yeah, like I had a Saheeli and an Ugin and a Sorin out, and it was just like I couldn't quite get there because they're Domri and they're and all that kind of jazz. And they're like, how did you do? And I was like, oh well. Yeah, I had a Crunch Wrangler and I played a Blooming Hulk and I stacked the triggers so that the Crunch Wrangler got a counter and then he got to proliferate that counter.
I had 2 creatures with 4 power.
So this is a weird and wacky format, but I had a ton of fun.
Nice.
But the one card that everyone was like, the most divisive card that I've had people talk about was Parhelion II.
How is that card?
I didn't run it, but
On paper, it seems amazing. Like, what does it do?
So Parhelion is 6 white.
So 8 mana.
For a 5/5 vehicle with flying, first strike, and vigilance.
Seems good.
Whenever it attacks, you create 2 4/4 white angel tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking. Crew 4. And that's what kind of kills me on it is like there was no point, at least that I found when I was getting there, that if I did get to 8 mana, I had just like a spare 4/4 running around. But then again, maybe you have like a bunch of little amassed dudes and stuff.
I've lost to this in Arena.
Oh.
Let me tell you, I did not see it coming.
It can absolutely get there.
You wind up in these long, grindy games where you're both kind of like ticking down your planeswalkers and trying to measure things out, and then you realize, oh no, they're on 8 mana, and it just like lands, and you're like,
your hair blows back.
Yeah, my tank was empty, right? Like, it's not like you're sandbagging removal, expecting Parhelion II. And then they swing for 13 and you die.
Like, it's obviously very good.
Yes, it's a very strong card. I just I don't know. It was not something that I thought I could ever get to, and I don't think looking back at the games I did play, I would have quite gotten there, I guess.
I think it wants to less be in a control shell, and this is going to age poorly because, London is going to show up and it's going to be like, oh yeah, there were 45 copies of Parhelion II in the top 8, right? It was just a control map. But like, I think in if we talk about the pool I didn't run, I had the green uncommon planeswalker from the Chinese.
Oh,
set,
Jiang Wu,
that turns all of your dudes into birds of paradise if they have a +1/+1 counter on them. And I think like playing Parhelion II is way better on 4 than it is on.
Oh, just like ramp it out in a creature-based strategy. Yeah. I have such a hard time with this card.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, multiple people were like, I don't think you can do it. A bunch of people were like, I've been winning games all day with it. And I'm just like, okay. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I think maybe what I probably should have done is play hard control. But I've had several instances where maybe my pool supports a certain archetype more than maybe an archetype that I'm more comfortable with playing. And I feel like sometimes you want to aim towards the one you're more comfortable playing, provided if you're like looking to, if you're looking to grind, I guess, right? But I guess what you should come at it with, and what I probably should have come at it with, was I should have I pulled a planeswalker that wins if I mill myself out. And the pre-release is a time to just have fun and goof around and stuff. And I should have went with it. And I really regret not doing it. Not because maybe I would have won more, just because this was a time with zero
stakes have never been lower.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, obviously, by the time you listen to this, like the pre-releases and all that kind of jazz will be over. But if I could make a suggestion, go for the fun thing. At the end of the day, getting extra packs and all that kind of jazz is probably pretty cool and stuff like that. But maybe playing outside of an archetype that you're traditionally traditionally comfortable with, you've already spent the X amount of dollars to play. Why not do something fun with it?
You just said the word pack,
Did I?
which reminded me
Right.
we haven't cracked a pack.
Are we cracking a pack? I
That's
feel
right.
like we're okay to just
Yeah,
talk.
I think we're okay just to jaw here.
Okay, we'll just
Yeah.
keep chatting. This pack is going to sit here, chat, and know that we love you. Oh,
Just open it for absolutely no value at the end of
At
the
the
show.
end? Sure,
At the
sure,
end of the
sure.
show,
Okay.
just
All right,
open
we'll
it.
wait.
Do you want me to open it and then just be like, no, you don't want to see what's in here?
You do you at the end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
all right,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
we'll play it by ear.
All right.
Alright,
So
yeah,
that was my thing. I had a lot of fun. I didn't do the most successful, but I walked away with cards that you better believe you're going to be probably seeing in a Friday Night Paper
Hell
Fight
yeah.
Commander thing
Nice.
in the future.
Cam, tell me about your pre-release. How did you do?
Okay, I wound up going 3-1-1,
Deez.
splitting in the finals.
Yeah.
Because I think after 5 rounds of Magic, especially sometimes very grindy Magic, as War of the Spark Limited seems to lend itself towards, people are willing to take that split at the end of the day.
Thank you, friends.
I opened what I think is a reasonably strong pool in the deck I wound up building was Grixis spells. There was also, I think, a reasonably strong Selesnya deck in the pool, but I felt it was light on interaction and leaned heavily on playing value creatures that want to turn sideways, as the deck you wound up playing was. But those decks work quite well for people who aren't me.
Yeah.
It's outside my comfort zone.
That's
and
basically it.
Like they work really well unless they falter, right? And if you miss your land drop, you're toast. And I wound up opening a very like bomby, splashy pool, which I wound up playing, which I think might be the correct move in War of the Spark sealed, because your opponent can be playing like 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, and you're just like some random bomb card that just blows everything
Undoes
off.
all of their work.
Yeah, undoes all of their work.
And obviously
And-
it paid off. You did well.
Yeah, well, I wound up playing a very greedy pool. You mentioned that your Esper pool would have had 7 creatures in it.
Is that...
That's 6 creatures because I have 1 creature in my removal pile, which is Cyclops Electromancer.
Right.
So I'm playing 7 creatures in my pool.
Okay.
For the record, it was Thunder Drake, Aven Eternal, Lazatep Reaver, Eternal Taskmaster, Sky Theater Strix, and Erratic Visionary.
How did you win?
I don't know.
Well, we're like...
Okay, the ways I've won, the cards I resolved in the games that I won were that I was able to chip in with Sky Theater Strix for like 2, 4, 6 damage.
Which one is Sky Theater Strix?
It is a 1/2 owl.
Oh,
for 2.
yeah. This card's great.
It's the strictly better
Stormcrow.
Stormcrow.
Yeah.
I like this card a lot. One of them... Strixly better. Oh, my God. Then I also had 7 pieces of removal. Obnixilus's Cruelty.
Oh, that's
Tyrant
where all
Scorn,
removal went.
Yeah,
Giant's
you got
Greeting,
it.
2 Chandra's Triumphs, a Spark Harvest, and Cyclops Electromancer also counts as removal because it goes to creatures when it enters the battlefield. So that helped keep the board clear. Protecting my own creatures was not something that I was terribly interested in doing. But one card that really impressed me was Command the Dreadhorde. As it turns out, that Reanimate any number of things is good at 6 mana. I paid, I think, 8 life in one match, 10 life in another, I think 10 life a third time. And just, you don't even have to be grabbing anything good, right? You just need to gum up the board.
The board just swings so much.
Yeah.
Like, you grab 2 Planeswalkers, and suddenly, like, you've undone so much work that your opponent's done.
Target creature or Planeswalker cards in graveyards. Not yours either. Any graveyard.
Like, this... I didn't need to be you get back a Lazatep Reaver and you're like, that probably wasn't a great way to spend 6 mana, but you get like 3 guys with a mass triggers on your TB, and suddenly you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got you just like showed that you've got like the removal suite to basically pick your creatures that you're going to be killing them with later.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And like at the end of the day too, a card like that, you know, if you're finding that you're just getting stomped early, like someone's junding you or something like that, right? It becomes the easiest sideboard you've ever made in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you're just like, I'm not making it to like these turns where it matters with enough life for it to happen. Scoop it out for something else.
Throw in like, a typhoid rat or something. Right?
Yeah.
If you're not running all of those for some reason, I picked a card at random. And then I had 4 Planeswalkers.
Deez?
Tybalt.
Oh, Tibbers.
Rakish Instigator, which I was very medium on, and then found out that I actually love this guy.
Oh.
I love this guy. There seems to be several breakpoints in the toughness of creatures in this set. And one of the big ones is 1.
Yep.
Being able to ping something for 1 damage is huge because so many of the uncommon planeswalkers tick down twice and they just sit there as a static ability. So being able to have a 1 power creature that when it dies pings something offers your opponents miserable choices.
Yeah, I gotta say that this set, more than ever, seeing those last 2 words of a lot of the texts or on like spells and whatnot of any target, is wild. You know, so it's super cool to see it. And
Yeah. And also, like, the opponents can't gain life. There's a lot of incidental life gain in this set, and a lot of, like, there's a Johnny's Companions, right? Or a Johnny's Pride Mates, sorry.
Yeah.
Right,
the,
that care
the
about life
2/2
gain.
that, yeah.
Also, the Devils pair really well with Obnixilis the Hate Twisted.
Yeah.
What does that one do?
Obnixilis is a 5 mana planeswalker, 3 black for a 5 loyalty uncommon Nixilis. Whenever an opponent, any static ability reads, whenever an opponent draws a card, Obnixilis the Hate Twisted deals 1 damage to that player. So whenever your opponent on their draw step, he just like ticks down your opponent. His -2 is destroy target creature. Its controller draws 2 cards. So you can blow away something. Your opponent gets to draw 2 cards, but they take 2 damage. That's okay. That when you got to do when something has to go, Obnixilis will take care of it. But you blow away your own devil token from Tybalt, and you ping something, and you draw 2 cards. Oh, it feels so nice. It feels so nice.
And see, these are the stories that, like, I'm sitting here doing my, like, Crunch Bloom, like, proliferate giant that I'm like, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I
like-
want to do that.
Yeah.
So I activate my 2 planeswalkers, draw 2 cards, ping you, and you're just like,
Yeah, and the best part is that Obnixilis and Tybalt are both just such giant assholes.
Oh, yeah, they'd be buds.
Yeah, they would be all over that. They'd be like, hey, I got a devil here. What do you want to do? And Obnixilis is like, I could torture it to death and like get a bunch of advantage off that. And Tybalt's like, oh, that's going to be awesome. Let me get my phone out and I'll videotape it. And the devil's like, wait, what?
Yeah, Tybalt's like, world star.
Yeah, and they high five.
I see. I instantly look at the 2 of them and see like Gaston and LeFou.
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No one. Like,
Is this Tap Tap
Feels like
Concede?
I'm next.
Oh, God. How did this become Tap Tap Concede the musical? This is the 2nd time you 2 have just burst into song.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
it just slightly just to amaze you, I guess.
I suppose so.
Consider me amazed. This is very special.
Rounding out my 5 mana planeswalkers was Sarkhan the Masterless. And as it turns out, making a 4/4 dragon, -3ing Sarkhan, paying 5 mana to make a 4/4 dragon, a lot of the time feels pretty good. 5/5 for a 5 mana for a 4/4 for something that isn't quite as good as Sarah Angel is still pretty good and sealed, right? Especially if he gets to live through the turn.
Yeah.
What feels really good is dropping Sarkhan on turn 5, or not on turn 5, but after you've played Tybalt and Obnixilis and -2'd them together.
Yeah.
And they're both just sitting around at 1 mana.
Doing
Or 1
nothing.
loyalty, yeah.
Yeah, 1 loyalty, and you just drop Sarkhan and turn them both into dragons, and
Yeah.
they just like high five again and hate your opponent.
All right, we found your win cons.
Well,
Yikes.
and then also, or sorry, if you aren't familiar with Sarkhan the Masterless, if you're listening to the podcast version, he's a 3 red, 5 loyalty Sarkhan type planeswalker with the static ability. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, each dragon you control deals 1 damage to that creature. Well, there's not a lot of dragons in this set. There's 2, kind of, but his -3 is create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. That's not bad. His +1 reads until end of turn, each planeswalker you control becomes a 4/4 red dragon creature and gains flying. Yeah, so making hasty dragons is pretty good for just like if you've got planeswalkers sitting around like on break.
Yeah.
Right, like leaning against their shovels.
Yeah. Just shout out, by the way, to Sarkhan for finally doing his own thing.
Yeah.
He's kind of been everybody's like errand boy for
Yeah,
the past
exactly.
little bit. So hey.
Yeah, now he's an independent contractor.
Yeah. Everybody, all of Nicol Bolas's cronies kind of realized that, oh wow, you didn't care about me
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, well, Sarkhan got that memo a bit earlier than everyone else. I think.
Domri waited a bit too long.
Yeah, Domri decided to hold out for the retirement plan.
Which card is it? Spark Harvest.
It is Spark Harvest.
Yes, that's got the picture of
Domri just having
See ya.
coming in. Domri, can you come into my office and close the door behind you, please?
Yeah, what's up?
Sit down. I'm going to need you to sit down, Domri. This is going to take a little while. And then my other rare that I was really happy to be playing was Ral, Storm Conduit. He's 2 blue-red for 4 loyalty Ral type Planeswalker. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Ral Storm Conduit deals 1 damage to target opponent or Planeswalker. I had to have a judge roll back 1 turn where I pinged an opponent's creature with this.
Yeah, this one is not any target. This is only an opponent or Planeswalker.
Yeah, so that was embarrassing. But his +2 reads Scry 1. There.
Dece.
Doesn't that feel nice? It does feel nice. His -2, whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I burned out a Boar God with this.
Ooh.
And everything feels good with this. The only card that doesn't feel good with this is Command the Dreadhorde, because you don't need to. But every other instant or sorcery feels so good. I copied Jaya's Greeting. Ugh. I copied Chandra's Triumph. I copied Tyrant's Scorn. I copied Contentious Plan. Do you know how good it feels to just copy Contentious Plan?
It's like it's a free activation.
Yeah. Draw 2 cards, and then you ping your opponent twice.
So, highest overperformer?
Absolutely. I was expecting...
Was Ral?
Was Ral.
Interesting. Because you read it, and you're like, doesn't do anything by itself.
Yeah, no.
Like, that there's not the typical rules of a Planeswalker has to be able to protect itself. You're just like,
But as it turns out, when you just blow everything away, it feels pretty good. He's a miserable top deck, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Sure. When empty board and you need literal
you need
anything.
an answer.
Sure.
He's the worst. But if you've been able to sandbag like anything at all, Ral feels great. I also got to do the thing where an opponent attacked Ral. Like I went all out, minus Ral down all the way to I think 1 or 2 loyalty. An opponent was like, "Finally, yes, the opening. The shields are down." Right? We've detected a gap in their battle formation.
Right.
Sent everything in, and I Teferied Time Twist Ral, which exiles him and then returns him to the battlefield on the beginning of the next end step.
Yeah.
Wow.
It felt amazing.
It
felt amazing.
I bet.
Like,
it's like you activated my trap card.
Yeah,
it
very
feels,
much
it
so.
It feels amazing to be on this side of the shenanigans.
Yeah. Who hurt you, Cam? Yeah.
Us aggro players, I think,
so.
over the years.
Was there an underperformer, a card you expected better from, and just never had its window?
Obnixilus's Cruelty never showed up for work. I don't think
the
I
card
ever...
seems fine. It
seems fine.
Yeah.
What didn't work for me? Thunderdrake, I wasn't terribly impressed with. I think I got one thing back with Eternal Taskmaster.
Yeah, but
this is not a card you necessarily want to be running in a 7 creature
well,
deck.
Eternal Taskmaster is also just a 2/3 for 2. Like that seems fine. This card seems very, very good.
The only problem, enters the battlefield tapped.
Yes.
Right? So like in a deck that just wants to gum up the board and protect its
Sure,
planeswalkers, it was like this or the other thing, right? Like basically all my creatures were just here to hold down the board while we waited for the planeswalkers to show up.
Did you have a Heartfire in your pool at all?
No, I didn't.
So I don't have it in this, but I played about 3 or 4 sealed pools on Arena, and when this card got spoiled, I was like, this thing's sweet. I'm so into this and whatnot. It did not feel as good as I thought it was going to feel.
It's got a lot of downside.
It had, yeah, and I mean, it was just like this one card sometimes that like I've got like 2 creatures on board, neither of whom I want to sack, and it just sort of sat there. That being said, I definitely don't people for 4 and 1 with it and whatnot, but it felt like anytime I see Heartfire, I would have just rathered it be Jaya's Greeting.
That's Highlander playable. We talked about it in the set review as maybe a finisher in RDW.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably
it's
run it
solid,
in that,
but maybe
yeah.
not necessarily in this
In a limited
environment.
pool, though, it's a little bit like more difficult, I think. But
yeah,
I don't
like,
know.
This seems like a great second main phase card after you've swung with like
Sure, just
Yeah.
to finish it
yeah,
off.
Swift Spear and like Goblin Guide, right? But otherwise, anything else that really didn't impress me in my pool, they all felt good. Tamio's Epiphany. Holy moly. I know you aren't drawing 4, but the feel when you peel 4 cards off the top.
Scry 4 and then draw 2.
Yeah, and then put them. Oh, foresight.
Well, that's
I missed
everything.
you.
That's everything you want to do in Magic. And another card that just always felt good, Jace's Triumph. It's Divination, but it has a couple extra words of text if
Yeah.
you've opened well.
Would have liked one of those.
Yeah, Divination. Divination, always a great card. Feels good in this format.
So, if I may, I'll share the tale of my pre-release.
Sure.
So you open up, and the first thing I think every Magic player does when they open their pre-release kit, what's my seeded rare? And I think one of the strongest planeswalkers, in my opinion, in Limited, which is Ajani the Great-Hearted. This is the 4-mana green-white Ajani. For 2 green-white, 5 loyalty. Creatures you control have vigilance. Gain 3 life for +1, -2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other planeswalker you control.
I like how he's making that one Eternal do the teddy bear dance.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I can't help but notice, Serge, your Johnny the Great-Hearted is still wrapped in its original packaging.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, I had Vivian's Arcbow, another great rare. So I go rare, and green-white, and the Arcbow is solid. I wasn't too worried about it and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, this is great. And then I proceed to open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue-red rares and mythics,
What's it like to live the dream?
including Ilharg the Raise Boar,
The
Fire
pig.
pig.
Kefnet, my own Ral, and then just like a couple other value ones and stuff like
Right.
that. So I'm just like, sorry, Johnny, like you go live over there right now. I'm gonna go play as a control mage.
Did you have the combo?
What's the combo?
Narset's Reversal and Ral Zarek.
Narset's Reversal and Ral's.
No, I'm thinking of a different one. I thought
Okay.
No, so you can do it off of. Yes, you can. So no,
What? Can somebody use your words to describe what combo you're trying to do?
You cannot do it off of this. No, you wouldn't be
Okay.
able to because you need a starter spell. So there's an infinite combo with Ral right now. That hypothetically you could do in limited. So,
Okay.
But it's easier, I think, to accomplish in standard. But basically, the combo is you use Ral's static ability, which is whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it pings, right? And then you use some sort of starter spell, usually something like Opt or Shock or something like that, right? A 1-mana spell. Then you cast either Expansion from Expansion and Explosion.
Sure.
And then you cast another Expansion or Narset's Reversal is kind of the other kind of copy one right now. And you copy the copy, and then you copy the copy, and then you copy the copy, and you copy the copy. And because he triggers after each spell cast or copy
Just sends
cast
them directly to the Shadow
to the
Realm?
dome. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
So you could hypothetically do that if you had in limited if you had Ral and 2 Narset's Reversals.
That's a lot of mana.
Yes,
That is a lot
that
of
is a
mana.
lot of
Yeah.
mana. Well, it's 5 mana.
Oh,
If
right.
you've already got a
right.
Ral
If you already
out
got
and
Ral in
stuff,
town,
right?
yeah. So my pool was fun. Cards that I literally never cast one. I opened a Narset's Reversal, which we're talking about
Yes.
there. And, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember watching the pre-release and watching, I think Graham just sent somebody to the Shadow Realm by taking the, what's that blue-black rare that target creature gets -4/-4, mill 4, gain 4, mass 4? It's like release the...
Enter the God Eternals.
Enter the
Yeah.
God Eternals? I saw somebody at the PPR, Narset's Reversal and Enter the God Eternal, and I was like, I'm going to live the dream. This is going to be the greatest day of my life. And so many times I'm like, I've kept blue open. Anytime now, opponent, just cast a thing, and they're like, no, I'm cool. So my deck found a very interesting spot, and I'd like to think it was somewhere between Cameron's deck and Ben's deck, in that I had these very, 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 very powerful threats, much like Cameron, but much like Ben, I had no removal. So
Usually when you find a happy medium between two decks, it's between two positive points of the...
things.
oh,
I mean, I suppose this is also technically a happy
Well, this is a
medium.
glass
Right.
half
Yeah.
full,
No, you're
right?
not wrong.
It's
You're not
medium, and
wrong,
I'm
Serge.
happy.
Yeah, I had the happy medium between Cam's dope deck and Ben's not so great pool.
I didn't mean to. Just,
Now go on, tell me more about your two gods, your copy thing that copies a god, and your ability to steal somebody's dope bomb.
Now, I didn't talk about Spark Double. Another one of my rares was Spark Double, which for 4 mana lets me copy one of my dope bombs. And let me tell you something that feels great. 2 Kefnets.
At the same time.
I never got to have 2 Ilhargs, unfortunately, but 2 Kefnets is just like, chef kiss. Especially where one is a 4/5 and the other is a 5/6 flyer.
Yeah.
Because Spark Double is 4 mana for a 0/0 illusion. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature or planeswalker you control, except it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, enters with an additional loyalty if it's a planeswalker, and just oops also isn't legendary. And that was great. That was great. So we see the heart of the deck. Ilharg never disappointed me. P.S. The secret tech, if you're like, oh no, my opponents always have these gods, how do I get rid of them? There is a 2 mana blue common aura.
Oh,
yeah. Kasmina's
Turn to yeah,
transmutation.
Yeah. What's the actual name, Ben?
Kasmina's transmutation.
Yeah, so 2 mana aura, enchant creature loses all abilities, has base power and toughness of 1 and 1. This ability overrides the God Clause, and so you can actually kill these stupid things, and so they go. So that was neat. But nobody ever killed the pig, but the pig got turned into a frog quite a few times. It was very confusing. Cards that I was disappointed in. Saheeli seemed to read, for 1 blue-red hybrid, target opponent will discard that 1 black sorcery that just kills a planeswalker.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay. So I don't think that's her fault for being
No,
disappointing.
I
She's a young pyromancer, is what she is.
Every time I cast her on curve, they'd be like, oh, cool, kill her. And it got to the point now that I'd play her, and they'd just look and like smile, and I just immediately put her in my graveyard, and they'd be like, how do you know? I'm like, this is the 5th time it's happened. Like, it was ridiculous. So Saheeli, what do you want to do, Saheeli?
Make 1/1s.
Like,
Wait, okay, she's not. I mean, okay, I don't want to disparage what you're saying, but I don't think she's a disappointing card because she ate a removal.
No. It's so weird, though. It's just like she doesn't do anything on an empty board. So the amount of times that you cast her on 3 and don't activate, you just cast her on 3 and pass, feels kind of weird. It's one of the few planeswalkers that you never want to see early, because if there's no follow-up, so you almost want to cast Saheeli on turn 5, like play Saheeli,
Sure,
and then also follow up with like a contentious plan or a cantrip or something like that. But it seems hard to have a spell that you never want to cast on curve.
I agree, but again, like I look at her as literally like it's what does a young pyromancer do when you play it on turn 2? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what I see the card as. And
Sure.
I've seen several moments where you get to do something fancy. I've seen somebody turn Bolus's statue, the 6-drop thing, into a creature off of Saheeli.
Yeah.
Right? Which it's now a 6/6 kind of or
It would copy something else.
Right,
It's not
sorry,
like,
so
it's not
sorry.
like old Karn ability.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Karn thing, but you can absolutely turn your little,
Do something.
I actually, just for simple magic, had somebody use this against me where they turned their servo into Herald,
Nice.
right? And then it dies, and
then
you
you got an army.
amass. Kind of a thing.
Something worth mentioning, because in my head, when I thought Artificer, I figured Thopters. It's important to note that Saheeli creates 1/1 servo artifact creature tokens, which are not the ones that fly. Because that definitely caught me up. All right, so card that I felt overperformed, Bond of Passion. So 6 mana sorcery for 4 red, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap it, it gains haste. And Bond of Passion deals 2 damage to any other target. Could have been the fact that my deck had no removal. This was literally the only removal I had. But the ability to grab, let's say, an out-of-control army, zombie army token, or the 2 damage to finish off a planeswalker, like that little bit of chip damage closed a ton of games for me. Very impressed every time I had Bond of Passion, won me a lot of games. A card, and this might just reflect my issues with Magic, Contentious Plan. This card is objectively amazing.
Yes.
2 mana sorcery, 1 and a blue for sorcery, proliferate, which is great. Draw a card, 3 most powerful words in Magic. When do you cast this? Because do you cast it on turn 2? Right?
You cast it after -2ing Ralzeric.
Well, obviously, there's the best case scenario. It's easy to know. I have a Saheli and a Ralzeric in play. It's like bear. But because it's so good, I often started second guessing when it was I wanted to use it.
I would consider cycling this early game sometimes.
Yeah, I think if you're under pressure and you need something else,
Yeah.
Like you put this in your deck because you know the big thing that it can do, right? Where you can have that sweet thing where you've got like 3 creatures with counters and you've got a couple of planeswalkers and whatnot. You get to do all those cool things. But on the times where it's not that, it becomes a cycle card.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me a bit of the 1 mana blue spell from Guilds of Ravnica, the one that gave something -4/-0 and then surveilled.
Oh, yeah.
Where it has the abilities
Dazzling
on the card.
Lights?
Dazzling Lights? Yeah.
Yep.
The abilities are in the wrong order on the card. Right? Like,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you need to draw a card now? Do you need an answer? Right? Do you need something that's better than this card right now? Then use it and draw a card. And it also has this proliferate ability that is very powerful, absolutely, but should not be considered the primary function of the card until it is the primary function.
I just love value. I just want to get as much value out of it as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, we've only got a couple more minutes left, so let's talk about some high-level stuff here. I was also judging this event. One thing that I found very interesting, this is a complicated set.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of mechanics in it. Instead, there's a lot of very powerful abilities, in particular a lot of static abilities. And I got a lot of judge calls being like, hey, Judge, 2 turns ago, I forgot the fact that I had a Wanderer in play, and my opponent cast a spell to kill one of my cards, and then I killed my card, and then I untapped, and then I went to attack, and I realized, oh, you can't target my creatures. And I'm just like, well, the abilities are so powerful, but because there's so many of them, you don't even realize you missed it until turns go by. Even I forgot that my Raise Boar is supposed to go back into my library.
Yes.
Like, this is my own card. This is one of my win cons in the highlight of my deck, and even I forgot the recurring ability of it. So I don't know what advice to give there. I mean, everyone always says slow down and read all the cards, but
that's kind of the thing, though, and it was literally what I was going to say, right? Like, I went up against a couple of people that were like flying through some of their turns.
Yeah.
Right. And there were a couple of times where I he was just like they'd be like pass it, and then like at one point somebody ended up it's the 3-drop a mass flyer, Avon.
Avon Eternal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
They I went to attacks and they went, I flashed this creature in. And obviously it's very flying and flash start with the same 2 letters, right? And so it's in those scenarios where obviously that's just a strict that's just a thing you can't do.
Yeah.
But it's a similar scenario as those where it's just like the mechanics aren't really all that difficult. And there's no rush. And because of the amount of removal and all that kind of stuff that I see in the set, even one game where I got board stalled for maybe 5 or 6 turns and we were both top decking, it then ended very quickly. There was some decisive thing that does it. So I think a lot of people maybe get worried about going to time or something like that in these sort of things. And what I would say is just like, there are so many things going on, it will always just behoove you to to make sure you're checking in on every little thing, because there may be may clauses or little things that are tacked on toward the ends of sentences of planeswalkers that you never even you kind of skirt over.
Yeah, every word is relevant.
Yeah, things like any target or stuff like that.
Let your opponent beat you. Take your time not to beat yourself.
Yeah.
Because nothing feels worse than misplaying. You can get crushed and you're like, they played well, but you make one mistake and that's what haunts you afterwards. All right, let's move to some closing thoughts here. Cameron.
Sorry, I just realized I didn't point out that Command the Dreadhorde was actually my promo foil.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
the other card in the pack was Jang.
The green one.
The green planeswalker that loves counters, and I played one and not the other.
Sweet.
Not really any regrets
Yeah.
there. I would have loved to have either of the weirds.
They're
Spell Shaper
good.
Weird.
Yeah, I would have traded any of the creatures. I would have traded
Like-
any of my common creatures for either of those uncommon.
Yeah.
Obviously
Right,
better
obviously,
ones. Yeah.
Obviously better ones. But can
I
you
got-
just imagine?
I did get to cast Casualty of War with 5 targets.
Woo!
It was an opponent's Karn's Bastion for the land.
Yeah.
It was Saheeli as the Planeswalker. It was a Mana Geode as the artifact, and it was a 4/4 zombie army as the creature.
That feels good.
And then
I hear you
next
like
turn,
value.
they cast Planar Celebration, which is the big green spell.
Right. Choose 4 or something like that.
Where basically they got to take all those cards back that I just removed. And because one of them was a token one, they went, and I'll make a citizen. They grabbed the 3 that I destroyed.
Cool.
Or whatever, and
Yeah, where
grabbed
you're
the
just
citizen.
like, what do you do at that point? You just yell, "Come on!"
Yeah. I went, that's pretty good. And he was
Cool.
like, yeah, this card seems good. I'm
Yeah.
like, yep.
Altogether, I love this set. I can't wait to jam some more. Ben, do you want to crack that pack for no value?
Sure. We've got ourselves a Teferi's Time Twist.
Yep.
Nice.
If we're just slamming this. We got On Crop Invader, which is the dude that has
I love
first
that guy.
strike
Yeah.
on your turn.
Yep.
Card that I really would have loved to have in my pool, a Crawl Stinger.
3 mana, 2/2 with Death Touch.
Yep. We got the big zombie hippo, Lazatep Behemoth, which might have the best flavor text of the set.
I know I should be more concerned, but a big blue zombie Potamus.
Potamus.
Zombie Potamus from beyond the stars. This is what they're invading us with.
Yeah, Potamus, Potatamus.
Potatomus.
Basically a zombie potato. Check.
Even Eternal.
Yep, good card.
Sarkhan's Catharsis, which I misread a couple of times and didn't realize it's
Does
a lava
not go to
axe.
creature.
Yeah, 5 mana instant, only target player.
Oh,
Planeswalker.
I got to do a play. I got to copy that with Ral. That felt good.
Bloomhulk, love this card.
Yep.
Saheeli Silverwing, meh.
Yeah.
Omnixilus's Cruelty, power creep.
Yeah.
Totally Lost.
Yay. Wait,
Yeah.
but no Fibblethip in the art.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on top
Yeah,
of a
he's on
Dagron.
that- Yeah. Bond of Discipline, which I don't remember. Right, this card's actually a bomb. Tap all creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn.
Also, 5 mana GG.
Yeah. Rally of Wings, which is untap all creatures you control. Flyers get +2/+2. Kiora. Kiora, who's pretty sweet. And our rare is Neheb.
Guess who's back?
Yeah,
Back
I
again.
have loved every printing of Neheb.
Yeah.
I think they just keep getting really cool words. Neheb is a 2 red for a 5/4 trample. Whenever Neheb Dreadhorde champion deals combat damage to a player Planeswalker, you may discard any number of cards, and if you do, draw that many cards and add that much red mana. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana and steps and phases end.
You forgot the best part, which is legendary creature zombie Minotaur Warrior.
Yeah, because it was a Minotaur Warrior before, and now a zombie Minotaur Warrior.
Well, friends, that is going to be it for this episode of Tap Tap Concede. Thank you oh so much for joining us.
I am going to just butt in real quick because you noticed the hiccup I had just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
It was me trying to go back to the full screen view, and I'm going to try that again, but giving a warning this time. Don't do it. Hut! It did it. Okay, we're back. It's fine.
Reminder, thank you for watching Tap Tap Concede. Reminder that Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by CardKingdom.com. CardKingdom.com/LRR. That's our affiliate code. It lets them know that we sent you. We like them a lot, and we hope that you would also like them a lot. And reminder that everything we do is brought to you, by your support over the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Thank you very, very much, and we'll see you next time.